my first ever show supporting N-dubs. I was like 16. Things obviously, you know, when like bad things happen to you, you know, they don't just go away, like, do you know what I mean? Believe it or not, I used to make like porn music when he was younger, in like the 80s and that, you know, I like I've had 17 jobs, since COVID started. If these people can shout me out, why can't like these guys from around here? Balance. You just need balance. Everything's got a balance, haven't it? You know, everything's energy as well. And if you're spending too much energy on something, you know, like energy's getting wasted elsewhere. Like I was speaking to him and he was like, "Oh mate, man, that's amazing." I was like, "Look at this is my contract, man."
Yes, guys, I'm Si. Welcome to Ace Podcast Nation, powered by Violent Money. Check out violentmoney.co.uk for the latest products and training apparel, including their latest drop, which is a collaboration with Weekend Defender. And you can use the code ACE20 for 20% off. So make sure you do that. And check out the Violent Money Academy on social media channels and the Violent Money TV on YouTube. Nice one. This is my story series. Delighted again to be joined by another top guest, and this one's from the music world, and it's music producer and artist, comedy.
How are you, bro? Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, mate, it's been a long time coming, hasn't it? Because like obviously we spoke, I think, before Christmas, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I think we had I think we were going to do like, first of all it was going to be like an online one, and then it was like and then I couldn't get my shit together. And then you said about coming up to your home studio to do it. And I was like, oh yeah, that sounds good. And then Christmas, isn't it? And then it was like that, and then life and that. But glad to get you finally in.
Yeah, thank you for having me. You know, the place is nice. We've got it perfectly set up here. It's looking very professional.
Likes it,
yeah, wicked.
The equipment's professional. It's just a shame about me.
No, you're good, man. You're good. But yeah, like I say, thank you for having me. It's nice to, you know, come on to a show and say my story, say about me, what I do, this and that, you know. So yeah, great, man.
Yeah, looking forward to it, mate. So what I like to do with these is we go like right back to the start, take you back to sort of the real early days and kind of where it started for you, upbringing, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, cool. Well, I was born on Barry Island, near the log flume-ish, and pretty much, you know, throughout childhood, playing football, taekwondo. I was like a white belt with bloody yellow stripes. Do you know what I mean? You know, just the usual things kids would do: go out, play football, come home, have a fight with the kids in the street, this and that. You know, end up with a few black eyes over the years, this and that. In regards to like growing up, you know, it was a bit of an up and down one, to be honest. Just like family stuff, you know, always gets in the way. But as I grew older, you know, it was just like football, and then I started boxing, and then eventually around the age of like 14, 15, going out, drinking, you know, ciders, Edgewater, all that sort of stuff. And then remember the Sony Ericsson phones, we'd all be in the park, and then there was like this drum bass tune called Slippery Slopes by DJ Clips. And I don't know if you know what that is. It's just like some mad dog drum bass tune. We'd all have it on our phones, and like we all started writing lyrics.
Yeah.
And we had a little crew. First crew is like called BSS. And now for all Shepherds and I watching this one now, BSS is called, it makes you cringe when you think about it, right? It's called Barry South Soldiers, because we're all from Barry.
Yeah, that's all right.
And we'd all be like walking down to this this night called The Vibe, which is like an under 18s night. And we'd all be walking down the street going, BSS, with our ciders in our hand and that. And then, you know, that was like what we do on the weekends. And then after a few months, you know, back in school, you know, I worked hard in school, to be fair. My mum was a teacher in Barry Boys, so, you know, I had to get my head down. If I was going on the knock or whatever, the teachers would be coming in the room. Why is your son not in this lesson? She'd be like, well, he's an adult. I'd be like, no, he's 15, but, you know. My mum always treated me like an adult when I was young. And then, like, went to, like, youth clubs. My mum ran a youth club, so I used to help with that. We had, like, decks, you know, mics, all that sort of stuff. And then there was another one in Barry called Area 41. We used to go there, and that's where I met like Stagger, RP, Monkey, all them lot. And got my first show when I was like 16. So like the Vibe where we used to go, pissed up and all this and that. And my first ever shows putting N-dubs. I was like 16.
Jesus.
And I was like, well, I'm 30 now, so 14 years ago. So it goes to show how long, like, I've been about doing this. And I did it with, I don't know if you know who Mercy Rose is. She's a singer. She's just started doing her thing now. I think with, sorry, no, Mercy Jane, her name is, a singer name. And she sings with like Hope Rose and things like that from Barry. I used to go out with her when we were younger, like, you know, she used to rap and she used to call herself Rasket. So it was like R Dot, that was my first ever name, R Dot. And then Rasket, we did this like back-to-back tune. Everyone had it on their phones, like Bluetooth days, do you know what I mean? And yeah, we performed that day. That was the first ever time I ever stood on the stage in front of loads of people. And like when I was a kid, like I used to be like quite nervous, like, do you know what I mean? Like I never used to like, I don't know, I got bullied and all that. That's why I say I did like the taekwondo, the boxing, this and that. Yeah, and then obviously, you know, we could, you know, obviously we don't want to go bam right to this stage, but that's how it started. Yeah.
What's the first things first? What's Barry like to grow up in? See, because I got a few mates down there, like, and a couple of them got like young kids there now. One of them thinks is fucking amazing. He loves it. The other one is having a few issues, like with just kids and just a bit of a nightmare. Like his van gets broken into fucking weekly, I think. And I think like he doesn't like it. I think he'd like to, even though he's like a Barry boy, I think he'd like to get out of there. Yeah. Just because he's got kids now, whereas the other one has been there all his life and he thinks it's great and he don't have any problems. Like, what was it like for you?
Well, I'll be honest, like every place has got good bits and bad bits.
Yeah, of course it does.
Where I lived, like on Barry Island, like it's separate to Barry in a sense, but it's not. Like obviously, you know, it's a 5-minute walk to get into Barry. But when you're on the island, like anyone who watches this and they're from Barry Island will know that like Barry Island people are different to like Barry people in a sense. Yeah, you like it used to be a case of like, because it's such a small area, like you would literally be able to just see people's bikes outside someone's house. You know everyone's in there. Like, you know what I mean? Like everyone knew each other. And like it was like a close knit community. That was when I was younger. The more I've got older, like the more the place has expanded. So obviously they're building more houses.
You lose that community spirit then, no?
Definitely. And I think, you know, like I say, it was good bits, bad bits. Like for me, like it was fine for me. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say like I'm from a rough place, even though we didn't have anything. Like, you know, my mum my dad was abusive, so like we was in like refuges now when we were younger, so we never really had anything in that sense, but we never really like, I've seen worse, do you know what I mean? So it's
a weird thing, right? Because so I agree with you, like back in the day, like I'm about 10 years older than you, we won't say the number, but like when I was a kid and a teenager, I was a little fucker, like I was horrible. Doing lots of things I shouldn't have done, which I've talked about loads of times, so I'm not gonna like bore people with the same stuff. But like, it's the community. Everybody knew each other. So the reason I always used to get caught doing either getting drunk or fighting or X, Y, and Z is because I'd be up at the shops, being sick because I had drunk liquor from all my mum's cabinet and that while they were at the shop buying carpet, and the people who own the shop, they know my parents. The people who are in the park with their kids, they know my parents because it was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday. And the kid I was with, his dad was a copper, so I got the blame as well, even though he was 2 years older. But that's another story. I'm not bitter about it whatsoever. Still, but like, it was like a tight community. Like, and you'd go over people's houses, and you could go like in them days. You could go to like the girl round the street, round the corner who I grew up with. We'd all go in her house. So there would be like 10 kids in her house, boys and girls, and you'd just be chatting and like hanging out or whatever. And you wouldn't be doing anything wrong, like. But these days, I can't imagine having, and like my oldest boy, who's 17, like he's really good. I'm so glad none of my kids are like what I was like. But like he's like 17. I wouldn't have 10 of his mates in my house. But I haven't really got a reason why. But like times just changed, and I think like I got relatives who live up in Ely, which obviously in Ely people automatically they think, oh, Ely blah blah blah, because of the history of the place, and they think, oh, it's rough and whatever. People have got like this stereotypical thing of it. But like in my opinion, like I've lived all over Cardiff now, over the last couple of years since I've been an adult, and like in the most recent times, so say like the last 10 years, places with the tightest community where I've lived was St Helens and Ely,
Yeah.
which to most people who've lived outside those areas or who've never lived in those areas, they'd be like, "Oh, I wouldn't live there." But
Yeah.
they're the areas which actually everyone still knows each other. Everyone still says hello to each other. If you go to like where I grew up, which was quite a nice area up in Rada, no one speaks to each other. Like the neighbours don't speak to each other, and that or any sense of community which was there 20 years ago is gone. And it's just this weird thing which has happened, and I don't know whether it is like you say where they just build houses after wherever there's like a space they'll just chuck houses in there, so you just get people who don't want to mix, or I don't know what it is, but like it's this weird thing. But in areas which people stereotypically will go, "Oh, I wouldn't live there," or "I wouldn't go there," they're the areas where it's really sound like, and people are.
That's
the people are really cool. Like,
I mean, you know, like my baby's mum's from Ely, and I'm up there. You know, like half of my time I'm not there. Like, you know, so like I see that, like she can walk down the street and go, "Oh yeah." It's like I used to be like that for me. Like, do you know what I mean? But everyone sort of moves away, does their own thing. You know, I don't really see many of my old mates I was in school with anymore. Really, I'll be totally honest. Like, you know, but that's probably just down to myself and how I conduct myself. I just am always working on something. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah.
So you mentioned like. You mentioned about your dad.
Yeah.
What's like you don't have to talk about anything you don't want to talk about anyway, mate. But like, what sort of effect did that have on you at that age? Like, how old were you? Would you say around that time?
8.
So that's quite young, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, what sort of effect did that have on you? Sort of as you're getting a bit older, and then obviously you go into high school and stuff, which is traumatic. I don't give a shit what anyone says. High school is just hard.
Yeah, well, I remember a few things. Obviously, you know, when like bad things happen to you, you know, they don't just go away. Like, do you know what I mean? So I just remember little things like, you know, be upstairs, and then like one night, I don't know, it was just a bit of a mad one. I think my dad, like, sounds like people probably laugh at this. Like, he threw an egg on my mum. I'm at the top of the stairs, and I'm looking down at him like when he's gone downstairs, and I remember him going like, "Oh, you're gonna remember this for the rest of your life." Here we are today talking about it, like.
It's this weird thing though, right? Because, like you say, like in the grand scheme of things, like throwing an egg, it's not like
that's not a big thing, but
like for a kid who's like 8, 9 or whatever, or even or younger, that's like it can be like it's this. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it's much more traumatic than what you think it is. Like to an adult, it's like it's just an egg, isn't it? But like like you said, you remember it like it was yesterday, and like there's a few things which I remember, like not good things from when I was younger, and it's like, I look at them now and I think sometimes, well, why do I remember that and not 10 million other things? But it's just because I would imagine it's like the feeling that it give you at the time, like.
And I mean, you know, it was like I just remember loads of little things. Like I remember being on a train one day and we were going to like some refuge, and then like Barry Island train station, like. We just gone, I don't know where we were going, but like when we were driving, I remember looking out the window and then seeing my dad driving past in a car, not knowing we was on this train. And I remember going, "Oh, there's my dad." And I remember going, "No, we're not seeing him anymore." Yeah. And what happened after that was then, so we was like, 8 years old then, and my mum found a new fella. I instantly just took a dislike to him, you know. I remember like staying around his house one night, and then sleeping on like the couch in the front room with like the front door outside, you know, we're on the front room of the house. Woke up middle of the night, smash, windows all smashed in, like from where my dad had found out, you know, seeing it from a bloke's point of view, obviously he's looking at my mum going, "Oh, okay, you left me, I was abusive, I don't know what's going on, you know, I need to maybe get them answers or whatever," but I just smashed the window when I was there, and like little things like that. That's 2 other things, and then it's like, you know, he tried to hit my little brother with a golf club and that in the park. We were playing golf in the park, and he come over and tried to hit my little brother with a golf club and that. Madness, like. I seen him like about 2 weeks ago, and I was like, he sort of said, "Oh, are I right?" And obviously, like I say, Barry Island's a small knit community, He left when I was 8. I'm 30 now, so that's 22 years ago, and he lives on the corner from me.
Jesus. So you must have seen him about a few.
Yeah, I've seen him about loads, like, and when I was like, say from the age of like 12, 13 and that, and I'm hanging around with all the older boys, and then I'd see him, and then they go, "Oh, is your dad over there?" And I go, "Yeah, my dad."
Mm.
And then he'd be like, yeah, but he is though. And he'd be like, no, you don't understand. He's not my dad anymore. And obviously I've got a daughter on myself, like, and the way I look at that is, there must have been some sort of reason for why he's done or whatever. There's two sides to every story. Maybe I'll get that answer one day. Right now, don't really care totally too much, but it's just one of them ones where, it did affect me when I was younger, and it still does affect me to this day because, like I say, I've learned a lot from it, and I want to sort of make sure I don't make them mistakes on my daughter. Like,
yeah, I was going to ask you, like, do you look back on like things which he maybe did, and you're like, I don't want to go down that route. I don't want to do those things.
Yeah.
Because like what I found is like my old man died when I was 16.
Yeah.
But it affected me massively, like more like 10 years, 15 years afterwards. I kind of struggled with it more, and then I had kids by the time I was like 22, I think. So like there was about that sort of period. I think. And it's hard because I look back and I'm like, I don't want to be like him. I don't want to be like him. I don't want to be the father that he was to me. And I had this weird relationship with him, see, because I was really close to him from like a baby to say 10, 12. As soon as I was like a teenager and I got a bit more of a personality of your own, haven't you? And you got views and attitudes, and it's not just as simple as I'll do this. Oh yeah, okay, Dad, yeah. You start arguing, didn't you? And you start giving a bit back, and you're sort of like, well, no, why? I don't want to do that, or whatever it may be. Like I mentioned earlier, I wasn't a particularly great teenager, so we clashed a lot. Like, but then all of a sudden he was gone, and I do say to my older boy a lot, because he'll be sometimes very, very rude to me, like, and I'll just say to him afterwards when he comes to apologise, and I say, mate, I get it, but like, I can't explain to you enough, like, how bad it will make you feel if you say something in the heat of the moment to your mum or to me or to anyone, your girlfriend or whatever, and then all of a sudden the next day they ain't there to say sorry for whatever reason. And this sounds like a really mean thing to say, but like it's a very real thing, isn't it?
Of course,
like it's like we've all lost people. Everyone's lost someone along the way. Like, some people have lost lots of people, and it's something which can play on your mind a lot. Like, because whether it's an apology or just telling someone that you care, or someone you haven't spoken to for 10 years or something over something stupid, it can be anything. Now, I try to use that as a learning thing for him. Whether I don't think he listens, but like I would like to think he will.
That sort of
stuff, of
course
it does. As they get older.
Yeah.
But so you try and use it as a learning thing as a parent and stuff like that. But do you find you think it must be hard for you because you still see him out and about, like.
Mate, it's a weird one, like, I'll be honest, because like I say, like, it's such a small place where I live, and like when I was just walking my dog, like, and like he was sat there with his dog on the car seats, and I walked past his car like this, like, you know what I mean, this close, and just like, all right, mate, that's it. And it's just like, if I, like, obviously it wouldn't happen, like, but if I didn't go if I went 22 years without, like, trying to have a bond with my daughter or whatever, and I've seen her, wouldn't you be like, all right, I'd at least say, how are you?
Yeah.
Or at least I know he said all right, but it's not like it's just that's just how we speak.
Going,
like how are you? Like what are you up to? Like simple little things like that. And I just think like, maybe one day I'll get the answers, like I say, but for now I'm just trying to build my future. Yeah. I'm not thinking about any past. Like I try and focus on the present moment as much as anything, because like that's all you have really. Anything that's in the past, nothing you can do about. It's gone. That's just time. Time's an illusion, like, do you know what I mean? So all we have is this moment. Yeah, you can look forward to your future, but like, what's to say that your future that you're looking forward to isn't how you're going to plan it out? I know we all manifest. I know we all have goals. I know we all have this and that. But like, like I say, the main thing for me is just to focus on the now, the power of now. I've read the book and all that, and it's just like I try to implement them little things I learn into my day-to-day life, like.
Yeah, 100%. I couldn't have said it better myself, mate, because I think sometimes, and that was something which I learned a lot of in my early 20s, and like maybe a little bit into my 30s as well. Like, and unfortunately, it was when my kids were young, but like I kind of like, I was so focused on what had happened and different things and what I'd lost out on or what I'd missed or like. And do you know what's weird? I didn't expect to talk about this. Today's the anniversary of my old man's death.
Sorry
but,
to hear that,
man. No, but it is what it is. But like, say 15 years ago, there's no way I would have been able to sit here and do a podcast, let alone sit here and talk about it, because I'd have been on the piss. Like, I would have just got shit-faced and tried to forget about it. But like, I just got to a point where I was like, you're letting things which there's nothing you can do about it. You can't change any of it.
Yeah.
But you're letting it like dictate how you feel now, what you're doing now. And like, off the back of my car accident and stuff, I had already lost a lot. And it was like, not only that, you've lost like a job and the physical side of stuff, your physical health, but you're letting your mental health go down the toilet over stuff which was like, you know, you're talking 20 years at this point ago or whatever. So yeah, it's a weird one. Music, like, what was that? What were you like in before that first gig then? 16, that's quite young. And like, did you say N-dubs as well? So like, that's a big thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it was at the time, you know, like, it was mad. Like, but before I did all that, like when I was in school.
How did that come about anyway, that gig?
So I was, like I say, I was part of like a youth club sort of thing. You know, my mum ran a youth club on Barry Island, and then there was another one called Area 41. I used to go in there and record stuff, you know, with Lennis a Spirit, my wicked guy. You know, he's the first guy to like go, right, no, calm it down, stop shouting on the mic and that, do you know what I mean? And believe it or not, I used to make like porn music when he was younger, like, in like the 80s and that, you know, I like yeah. But he didn't tell me that till I was like 18 anyway. But yeah, you know, that came about from just making tunes in there, and then the youth club was funded by the council. Then the council would give them money to put on an event, and then they just said, oh, you know, I was there. Imogen, you know, Raskett, she was there as well. We just went there, and that was that, man. It was wicked though. I remember it, like, everyone, all my schoolmates were all there, like, what? I had this mixtape I made, I can't remember the name of it now. It might be called something stupid, like, I think it was like Levels Ahead or something like that, right? Yeah. I got like 300 like blank CDs. Went to my mum obviously worked in Barry Boys, so I said, Mum, get this. I made my own little mixtape cover, and I had like 7 songs on it. I said, Mum, print all them off me, like, so I can sell them at the Vibe. And then she's like, yeah, cool. So she come back, they're all printed off. So I went individually cutting them all, you know, burning the CDs in Nero.
Yeah.
300 of them or something like that. Yeah, that must have taken some time, like literally. So I had my friends doing it for me as well, like, you know, making it quicker. And then I went there and I was selling them £1 each, like, that's nothing. But, you know, 16 years old, making 300 quid off music in a night.
Yeah.
I didn't get paid nothing for the performance, obviously, but
300 quid now for CDs.
Mate, honestly, and I still get people these days, you know, like, I see someone out and about, like, say, if I'm in a pub or whatever, oh, mate, I remember that CD I bought off you, like, 14 years ago, and I'm like, yeah, that's mad. Like, at the time, it was amazing. It's cool, it was amazing.
But, like, it's those little things as well, though, mate, right? If you hadn't got that opportunity, I don't know, like, if your life wasn't what it was, for whatever reason, like you weren't in Barry or you were living somewhere else or whatever, you might have been in a different school or a different youth club, and you could have missed out on that opportunity. So, like, whilst I don't buy entirely into everything happens for a reason, there is some kind of logic to it. Like, I had this discussion with Merkage, like, he's fully on board with, like, everything happens for a reason. Like, but, like, if your life wasn't what it was, you might not have been in that youth club to get that opportunity to make that 300 quid. I know it's not that the money matters, but, like, as a 16-year-old kid, 300 quid's a lot of money. It's your first night performing as well. So, like, I'm assuming that would have just given you more drive and more, like, proper giving you the bug to go and do something.
That's it. I mean, well, them days, it was MySpace days. Like, my name back then wasn't Comedy, it was R. Dot. Like, that's what I used to call myself. Then you had, like, J. Dot, Josh Benskin, like, he still does music here and there now. And there was, like, loads of other dots around about. Like, all the boys where I live, like, my mates who I've known since I was that person, still call me Dot these days. Yes, Dot, what's happening, Dot? I'm like, all right, bro, what's happening? Because they know me from that, like, you know, and, like, when I hear going, oh, yes, comma, it sounds weird.
Yeah.
It does sound weird these days, like, you know, but, like I say, I started off in school playing the recorder. Then I did like, because I was like quite naughty. After like, the stuff that went on with my mum and dad, I got seeing like these counsellors and all that, and they made me do like these trumpet lessons. And I remember the same place prior, like I think when I did the N-dubs thing, it was in this place called the Memorial Hall in Barry, yeah. And then like 2 years prior to that, actually, I might have been even in primary school. Yeah, I was in primary school. I did a trumpet show at the same place, and then obviously like a few years later, I'm doing this thing with N-dubs and that. This is quite mad. But I've always been from a musical family. So my older brother Russell, he was a DJ. He used to like support like Judge Jules and that. And then my uncle Kevin, who's my mum's brother, he was in a very successful band. Mid 2000s, he went like touring around America, Switzerland, all that sort of stuff. So it's always been around me, like, my grandpa, he's a heavy metal, like, he's like 70 odd now, he's in his Metallica t-shirts and that. Every time he sees me, he's like, grime on, dude. He's a mad guy, like. But like I say, music has always been something I've been around, and no, it's not like these days. It is just like all I do. I work a full-time job at the moment. Like COVID's affected me massively. Like I remember, I was working in Dreams, and shout out Dave, you'll probably be watching this. Like, he was my manager there, and then I remember saying to him, right, I'm ready now, because I was doing loads of drum and bass bookings, like 4 or 5 a week. A few £100 per show, times that by 4 or 5. Yeah, that's wicked for me. That's wicked, like, do you know what I mean? So, did that for ages, and then I was finally ready to like take the step, like I'm going full time. You know what I mean? Like this is it. Sat down with my manager. I said, like, I don't want to work here anymore, but like, just know my vision. He's like, mate, like, you used to listen to my music before he even met me anyway. When I joined it, he was like, I've heard your music. So I always had that like relationship with him, and I was like, yeah, I'm ready to do this full time. This is in March 2020 now, yeah. Yeah. What happened in March 2020?
Yeah, exactly.
2 weeks later, bam. But I sat at home, and at that point, like my YouTube page was starting to take off. Like one of my beats was on like a couple of 100,000 views, and I was sending loads of leases from that then. Do you know what I mean? So like when the views are building up, obviously more people are going to my page, and then in the description I'd have the link to the beat, and I'd have all these Americans like buying licenses and that. And I remember like I was making a nice little bit of a wedge. Like, you know what I mean? COVID come, I was like everyone's getting furloughed. Everyone's getting paid this to stay home from work. That's me. I don't have any handout of any government, and I know this is what I'm doing. And then after a few months, it gets depressing, then, don't it? Home all the time. And after a few months, I was like, oh man, like I don't know what to do. I can't stay home all the time. I was still making lots of money from the beats and that, but obviously I couldn't do any shows. So I had to get back into full-time work. And I'm not kidding you, yeah. Like all my friends know this. I've had 17 jobs. Yeah, since COVID started, and it's been like what two years, and it's ridiculous. Like I used to just turn up to places, and where I was like so focused on like bam, I got the music, and I got some guy in some factory shouting at me for being 2 minutes late for a job I don't want to do. Now my ego started kicking in a little bit then, but that's when I had to just humble myself a bit. I was like a bin man, like I worked in some pie factory, made call centres. You name it, like I've done it, and some of them I stay there for a week, some of them I stay there for half a day, some of them I go to an induction, some of them I stay there for 2 weeks. It was just mad. And
so you just kind of like, no, this is not for me.
Yeah, well, it's like it's almost like it depends what time of year it is as well. Because I'll be honest, when it's like October to like January, February time, when the weather's shit, you get up, it's dark, you get home, it's dark. Yeah. I suffer with that seasonal affective disorder as well. Yeah. So like them times I just don't want to do anything, I don't want to see anyone. But when it's like this and the weather's nice, I'm just like, I'm me again, do you know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, like it was hard, it still is hard now. At the moment I am working, doing a job and trying to balance family life out, my daughter, trying to still bang my beats out, and like everything will all balance out. Like you say, everything happens for a reason, and I'm a firm believer of all that as well. Like, but at this moment now I'm just focusing on, like I say, I'm not looking for too much to the future. I'm looking at the now, but I'm looking forward to planning my future at the moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So like, you got a tune out next week.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in just a second. I'm interested in the beats, though, mate, as well, because like obviously you make all them yourself, don't you?
Yeah.
Because I've seen you done a couple of like tutorials and that on your other channel.
Yeah.
But like, that's a good, like apart from like you making your own music and that's a wicked side hustle to have, or like easily become your main hustle, couldn't it? Eventually, like because if you're good at something like that, there's so many. Like we were talking outside with me before when I said about like 20 years ago, if you wanted to get your music out, you had to do what you did.
Yeah.
Burn your music onto Nero or whatever, using Nero onto CDs. You had to go and give it to people or sell it to people. Because if you didn't do that, there was no way to get your music out there. I know MySpace come around, but like it was hard work. But these days, with social media and YouTube and TikTok and all these things, if you can get something which resonates with people, it's instant and it's everywhere. And I think it's a massive market, but there's so many people trying to do that and get into that space from like just in Wales. Like there's so many artists like grime, hip hop, drum and bass, and a lot of them are really, really good.
Yeah, there's so many.
And if they lived in London, half of them would have probably already be a lot more well known than what they are. Like I got there's a. It's funny, right? There's a girl who's mates with my missus. Her son is a year older than my son, so he's like 18, 19, something like that. And he's just got into grime now. Only like last year. And he's made a couple of tunes, like some of them I think are pretty good, like. But straight away, like he's been on like One Extra and all these different.
What's his
like,
name then?
I don't have to have a look after. But I'll stick it in. Forget me. JJ, his name is, but I think I can't remember if he goes by something else. I think it might be just JJ.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because he lives in England, so it's a bit easier just to get that exposure. Like he is good. Like. And some of his tunes are bangers, like, or I don't know if he knows perhaps a couple of people within the sort of industry and stuff like that. But like, it's not that he's not good enough to get those opportunities. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is, he's got them really quick. Whereas I see a few guys, particularly in like Wales and that, who I look at and I think, like, you guys are so talented. Like, what I feel like more people should know that. I look at maybe I'm a bit biased because he's my mate, but I look at like T-Reb up in Swansea. I think he's so talented and he's so good with just like writing a verse and telling a story. Like he get you invested, and like there's a couple of his tunes where I know I fussed on the beat, but because of the way he tells the story, when I've listened to it a couple of times, I love it. And like I know he was supposed to be going out to America in January, and because of things which had happened when he was younger, he couldn't get in and get it. And I think so it might be Merkage actually who said the same thing, which is unfortunately it's just part and parcel of it. Like, but my point being is like there's so many people trying to get in that space, isn't it, and get music out, but it to be good and unique and different, and you kind of only need that one tune almost, which catches on, goes viral, because then people will follow your stuff, they'll watch your other stuff, and vice versa. But if you can make beats and license them to not just all the people, in Wales trying to get in that space, but in England, in America, in France, where it's a worldwide thing, and there's artists everywhere, music artists. I feel like that's a really good thing to get into. Like once you get, because you only need like a handful of artists in different places to be like, get your beats from this guy.
But it's slowly happening.
Like, always be return customers, won't they?
I mean, it's slowly happening around Wales, and I'll be honest, like it's round here for my production. It's taking me the longest to get any sort of recognition or credit or anything.
It's so weird to me that.
And like it started off on my YouTube channel. I started making like type beats, and it'd be like Tyler the Creator type beat, or hip hop boom bap instrumental, like the main title with a nice thumbnail.
Yeah.
And I was lucky enough. I remember I was working in maybe it might have been like a shitty job like Sky or something. Sorry to anyone who works in Sky, but I remember just being there one day, like one of my beats is on like 200 plays. Next day it's on like 1,000. I'm like, wow, I've only got like 40 subscribers. Sky, how much in a day? And next day went to 10k. Next day went to 30k. And I was like, yo, my subscribers started going up then. And then obviously my BeatStars, which is my store, I was looking at that. I was just sat there and I was going, yo, I'm making money from these. Like I was like, bam. Then I started putting out too many, and I was like, okay, take a step back. You know what I mean? Mate, and like I say, I was getting recognition over in like America. People like, you know, like big YouTubers. I don't know if you've heard of like I'm Dante. He's a massive YouTuber. He got like 3 or 4 million subscribers. Hit me in the inbox. Send me use one of your beats. I'm like, wow, if these people can shout me out, yeah, why can't like these guys from around here? So I just carried on doing my thing, you know. I wasn't really watching anything like that. I was just thinking, I'm gonna keep doing my thing because I'm happy with what I'm making, and I just like making music because I like making music. Anything else that comes out of it, bonus. What's happening? Like that's it. But more so lately, I've been working with some artists around here. Do you know Blue Vatsalou? Like he's savage. I've done 5 or 6 beats for him now. He's put 3 videos out. I think 2 of them are my beats, maybe. Just put one out soon as well. Done a couple of things for Stavs as well. I'm trying to get local on a couple of things. I sent in some bits, same with Fernquest, and there's loads of other artists around here that are proper sick as well. Like, you know, I could be here
all day
naming names. But like you say, like nowadays it is a lot easier for you to, you know, make a name for yourself first of all. The money will come afterwards, but people are making money from music now as well. Like 10 years ago, if I said, "Oh yeah, I'm a rapper," people will go, "Oh yeah." Now it's like, oh yeah. So that tone of voice, that difference in a tone of voice
changes
makes a massive difference. Like, and it's like everyone knows someone who's a rapper now. And not many people know people who are producers.
No.
And doing both. And that's what I do. And I DJ as well. So I'm like a triple threat. And like this is why like I get sort of stuck in like a pigeonhole of things because I'm trying to make my beats. I'm trying to make my own tunes. I'm trying to mix everything. I'm trying to master everything. People send me vocals to mix, then I want a DJ, then I want a job, then I want to do, you know, all this sort of
long list
like
stuff.
It's a long list and sometimes it gets a bit too much, like, so I've got to really try and like, you know, that's what I've been working on the last couple of, you know, since like COVID, and I just like trying to balance everything out and you know, just keep as active as I can and I'm still posting loads of stuff on my YouTube page. It's like last week, like I say, I hate jobs, so I started a new job because bloody DPD, Muppets, all you like. Sorry, I'm gonna plug that in. Yeah, DPD, don't ever wait for DPD. So I had like 10 days off work, so I said to myself, right, before I start this new job, I'm gonna bang out 10 beats in 10 days. And at that time, I was making 1 beat in a week, so I put 10 out in 10 days. That's like a percentage increase of something else. And after I done that, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, I need a break.
Yeah.
I need a break. You're burning me out, like.
Oh, it's hard work, mate. I done, not this Christmas, just gone, the Christmas before, I done this thing called like, what was it, 12 days of Ace Cast or something like that.
Yeah.
And I done 12 podcasts in 12 days. But like, I should have done them live.
Yeah.
Because I could do them live and I'd forget about it.
Yeah, yeah.
But I didn't. I recorded them, which meant I had to then edit them, add the graphics, do all the, you know, all the shit. And by the end of the 12 days, it was like Christmas Day. I put the last one out and I was like, mate, I'm not doing a podcast for... I just don't want to talk about it. It's just done. Like,
and shouts to all the people. Look, I see like YouTube producers. Yeah, there's this one guy called Epic Durham. I always go on his beats just to, you know, you gotta check out your competition. He's got like 100K subscribers, right? And that's something I look to and be like, one day. But he does a thing whenever he uploads a beat, he go like day 367, and I'm going. I just did 10 days or do you know what I mean?
I need a break.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing, isn't it? Because it's one of the, I think, like, I mean, it sounds like making those beats is similar to, like, if I get lost in editing and clips and you'll go on there and you might only go on there to think, oh, I'm going to just do this and then I'm going to go and do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
But you just get lost in it, and then like 3 hours later, you're fucking still sat at the computer, like just still doing different shit, like because you get into it. But it's also a sign that you love it.
Yeah.
And like there's that saying in there, it's like if you can find a job you love, then you won't work a day in your life. And I think it's mad, like, but I find I've had to wait until I was 40 to realise that, like, but
yeah, I mean, look,
isn't it?
Like, I love, right, just sitting there making music. Like, I don't go out and drink. I don't drink anymore. I just literally, like, family, me and my daughter, and music. That's that's me. Like, you know, obviously I don't want to be talking about my daughter too much on this. No, this is a music thing, but. You know, like at the end of the day, like if I can sit there and make some music and, you know, ideally make a few quid off what I put out in a couple of days and sit back and just like eat some nice food, you know, train, go gym, just like live my life like that, then I'm
You
happy.
want to enjoy the fruits of your work as well, don't you?
Yeah.
Like, there's like a thin line in there. Like, obviously, you gotta get your work out there, and you want it to be out there. You gotta get it out there to make a name for yourself and to find people so that they can, and then you can make money of it. But then you've also gotta make money off it to make it worthwhile eventually.
Yeah.
And then also, you want to be able to enjoy that money that you make. And if you're constantly working or just doing it and then going to DJ or going to do a gig or whatever, like you're never just taking a little like an hour or so just to do whatever or an evening off, take your daughter out or like whatever, like. And I think there's something my missus says to me all the time. She says like, you're building this thing, and I get it. Like you're building it, and you enjoy it, and you've met all these like incredible people, and you're making all these new friends and stuff like that. And I get that you love it, and I get that it's now starting to, you know, it's picking up pace, and you're starting to get different things offered to you. And I'm glad for you. I'm happy for you. But she said, it won't really matter if you have a heart attack by 50 because you've just literally turned 40 and just gone balls to the wall and gone, I'm going to do this, and there's nothing's going to stop me doing it. And she just said, just take a bit of time. Like your kids are growing up. They're already, like my youngest is 13. You've got 3 boys. Soon enough, they're going to be moving out and, you know, they're going to do their own thing. And then you're going to look back and you're going to be like, I wish I'd just taken a day off here and there. Like, so I've tried to take a bit of a step back, like a little bit. Not a step back in such of stop doing it, but just maybe...
Just balance. You just need balance. Everything's got a balance, haven't it? You know, everything's energy as well. And if you're spending too much energy on something, you know, energy's getting wasted elsewhere, like, you know what I mean? 100%. So if you get that balance between anything that you do, that's the main thing. And I've always thought, like, you know, the best way to do that is writing shit down. Get like whiteboard, bam. What am I doing this week? Like, I'm one of them people. I work on a rota. Like I tell myself when I go out, my dinner, my breakfast, and that.
I should do that
honestly
because like it would work better for me.
No, because like for me, it might not work for everyone, but it's starting to work for me. Like, you know, because I know then if I'm in a routine, that's my main problem. If I'm not in a routine, like say for instance, if I would like I'm off work today, and if I wasn't doing this, and I wanted to see my daughter for some reason or whatever, I would sat at home, I'd go gym, and I'd sit at home all day, and I'd just be. Just smoking, just like making my tunes and that, but like I'd be in all day. I wouldn't go out anywhere, like, you know what I mean? So like if I don't have a routine telling me what to do, my own, like I gotta learn to trust my own thoughts. That's the main thing I'm doing it for as well, to trust my own, you know, my own judgment on things. And if I set it in little tiny goals like that, then when it comes to making a big decision on something, then I know that I trust myself. Which is...
You're speaking to the converted, well, not even the converted, mate. You're saying the things that I've been thinking over the last week, because I had a meeting on Tuesday night, which I can't really say much about, but like, let's just say that when this meeting finished, my first thought was to go, yeah, let's go, like, and I stopped myself, I forced myself to go, all right, yeah, okay, we'll go and, you know, I'll speak to my missus, I'll go and speak to whatever, and I'll get back to you tomorrow, like. And I'm so glad I did, because there was a few things which I thought, we didn't talk about that, or I should have asked about that, or I should have told them this.
Yeah.
But like, because it's a good opportunity, like I was like, my first thing is to just jump in and just go do it. And I've made a couple of mistakes over the last couple of years from that, because I'm so focused on getting to certain things that I'm trying to make myself enjoy the journey, because how many times do you hear people say like the journey's the best bit in it, like once you get to your goal, if you haven't got another goal, you're kind of like you're just there and you
so I've been obviously Tyson Fury's fighting this weekend and you know I admire him as a man, like with the stuff that he's done. Same with Dillian White, like, you know, and I think like when he won his world title, all his life he'd been building up to that, but then when he won it, he didn't want to do it anymore. That's when he hit his low. But then now he's fighting again this Saturday, defending his title again. and these things he's saying in his interviews, like he's going like, oh yeah, this might be, I don't know if he's saying this as last one or whatever, but he probably feels that because he's hit his goal again, if he retains it again, that's twice now that he's been on the top of the world. Then what's to say that this drop, he knows how to, obviously he's had all his mental health problems and all that sort of stuff, and I'm pretty sure he can manage it now, whereas before he couldn't. So like you're saying, when you get to that goal, like what's after that? Unless you haven't got another goal, then yeah, what are you doing? Like,
yeah, it's hard. It is hard because once you hit that goal, like if you're not careful, I think it can go the wrong way.
Yeah.
Really quick. Like we've seen it like with this Tyson Fury, obviously, but like there's numerous examples in there over the years. Like, I am interested. Funny enough, because one of my mates, one of my close friends, who's a lot younger than me, has just had his first kid. Like I know you said you don't want to like talk too much about your daughter and you want to talk about music and stuff. I'm interested more though in how fatherhood changed you. Because what I say to I was saying to this lad, who by the way is Jordan, shout out to Jordan, he's a world champion in Cage Warriors.
Yeah.
He's a fucking animal.
Oh, that's where Paddy the Baddie come from, is it?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, mate, yeah, go on.
So, Paddy, by the way, soundest guy in the world.
Yeah.
He is so cool. But Jordan, right, he's going to be exactly like Paddy, like he's going to take over UFC. He's fucking incredible. And Jordan is so sound, but his coach is the co-host of our MMA and boxing show on a Sunday, and his missus was due to drop. Like they had their son the other day, and I told him before. I said, mate, no matter what you think it's going to be like, the first time you hold that baby, life will never be the same.
Yeah.
And he said, oh yeah, I know. And I said, mate, you don't. And I sent him a message yesterday and said, he said, he was like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Like, because it just changes you. It just changes everything about like how you view everything. It did for me anyway. Like I'm interested in if it's the same for everyone, I guess.
Well, like I started from like when I found out I was having a baby. I'll be honest. Like me and my baby's mum, we speak. We're sort of like we're close. Like now we like she was close to me and I weren't close to her. And like it's one of them ones where I was so focused on the future all the time and not like the now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like we were like on and off for like 3 years or maybe 2 years, something like that. I met her at a festival when I was like performing that Diff Boy tune, like, you know what I mean? She must have seen me, yeah. She must have seen me like that. But yeah, like so when she first told me she was pregnant, it was in lockdown and I was severely depressed, like, like anyway, like I'll be honest. I didn't take the news too well, like, and that's just me being a man, and there's loads of other males out there who've been in exactly the same position. Not everyone gets that news and they're overly happy with it. No. I'll admit that. And through the pregnancy as well, I weren't the best either. When the baby was born, changed, like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what the change was, like. So I wasn't like with her or anything when like with us and going out with her when the baby was born, but I was there. She was like she had the C-section and that, and as soon as like the baby she came out, like Malaya, my daughter, as soon as she came out, pissed all over me first thing she did. But when I held her at first, like what that feeling's like when you hold your baby for the first time, mate, I can't really explain it. Like it's just, and now like she's going da 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 da. Do you know what I mean? Just little things. And there was a time when I went a little while without seeing her because of some problems I'm having, like just in general. And that time I didn't see my daughter over Christmas, and that's probably down to my own doing. And that was the hardest day of my life. Yeah, that was the hardest. I've been through shit, like, but that was horrible. And yeah, like now, like mates, like I see her very often. I mean, and I just love her to bits, man. Yeah. It's just like it's changed me in a sense of like, yeah, it's not about me anymore. And I know I'm so focused on my own goals and that, but that's what I'm saying. Like I'm more focused on it now because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like,
well, it goes back to what we were saying earlier, wasn't it? Yeah. Like, you don't know what tomorrow holds. Like, and when you've suddenly got like a responsibility whereby before you have your kids or your daughter, like if you go, if something happens, that's it. Like that's it. But now, if you go, like there's responsibility to try and build something for your kids.
Yeah,
to make sure like you're not leaving them with nothing, or like as they get older, like in my case, like it's about trying to teach them how to be a man and how to be a decent human being.
Yeah.
And like I say to my kids all the time when they're moaning, like if I've said no to something or whatever, and I'll say like, look, mate or boys, it ain't my job to make you love me or like me.
Yeah.
It's my job to make sure that by the time you're an adult, you're able to look after yourself and be a decent human being. If you're able to do those things and treat people right and do the right things and go and build a life for yourself, I'll be happy. If you like me, then that's a bonus.
Yeah, and I used to see like when we were younger, a lot of my friends are having kids and that, and like you know, you see them changing from like going out and like having no money ever. You know, we go out on a night out and they're the ones like, oh, got a line, bro, got this, got that, and then like they never got money, but now they got a child and they're the best fathers ever. I mean, it's just like how it changes you, like.
Yeah, 100%, mate. I was I was that guy. I think I never had any money, but I always had pills or coke or weed, or just like
just how it is, like, you know, because when you haven't got it, like I say, when you haven't got,
you find a way,
independence, it's just something switches in you, like, and it's the maddest thing though. Like, you know, like I was watching Cullen's podcast the other day, and he was speaking to that Terminator and that. Basically, you know, like heroin addicts and things like that. Yeah, if they weren't on heroin and doing what they're doing, they would have money because they have that hustler's mentality, like, and like, you know, when we have children and we have kids or whatever, like, you need to have that hustler's mentality, like, because they depend on you, like, you know, and it's, you know,
especially
over years,
these days where everything is getting so expensive.
Yeah.
Like, if you just rest on your laurels or you just kind of go with the flow or whatever, like, I just feel like you're going to get yourself in trouble, like, because everything is just, the price of everything's going up, rent, petrol, whatever, like, so you've got to just keep going and going and going. And like, I feel like at the moment, I feel like I've almost got more pressure on me to get to my goals quicker because everything's getting more expensive. But like, part of that's like in my head, isn't it? But like, it's a pressure which you put on yourself, I think, as a father, as a husband, whatever. Like, but I do finding it that I'm putting more pressure on myself at the moment to get there quicker. Whereas 6 months ago, I was like, I'm enjoying it. I'm just gonna build it, and we'll just, whatever happens, you know, if anything happens, it happens. And now I'm like, no, I'm gonna make it happen. Yeah. And
that's a good attitude to have. Like, what I'd say, like, you don't have to take my advice, obviously, but you know, when I say like I like doing music, it's just because I like doing music, and if I put things out and people don't like it,
you enjoyed making it.
Yeah, and it's the same with you and your podcast. You know, if you, you know, feel like some days you might not get, you know, as many views you had on one video to another, who cares? Just do it because you like it, innit?
Oh, mate, in the first year or first couple of like 18 months, I had a real problem. Like, I would put a video out and then I'd be watching it like go up. And sometimes I'd have like a guest or a show or whatever, and I put it out and I think like, this is gonna bang, this is. Yeah. Like, we had Emil Heskey on the football show, right? And I'm thinking, that's gonna bang. Everyone likes Emil Heskey. Like, he's a massive name. Literally, even people who don't like football, they know he is. Yeah. So they'll have a look, like, if they know me or whatever. And it did all right. Like, nothing great. And then like 6 weeks later, we had like a non-league footballer who I didn't know. Like, I wasn't familiar with him. Yeah. But Andy knew him, like, and we got him on. And mate, he was so interesting. He told so many great stories, and he was funny. And that banged, like, and it done really well. And I was like, yeah, there's no fucking rhyme or reason to this. There's no point in me getting stressed, like, watching each view go up, like, because I just like,
you drive yourself nuts with it. Yeah. I've done it loads of times.
100%, mate. And I just said, like, I got to at that point. I just said, you know what, all right. I said, look at it. Said to my missus, like, I said, look at it from this point of view. I said, if I stop this tomorrow, I've got to interview all these wicked people. Like, my two closest mates are like Andy Campbell and Rodri Giggs. Who'd have thought that? Like, you know, 5-6 years ago. I've made some good friends. I've met some wicked people. I've met a lot of my like heroes and idols and stuff. Wicked. So if it finishes tomorrow, I'm happy, and that has made it 100 times more enjoyable. Like because the pressure's not there. But now when I say pressure, I think it's more. I'm more like determined to get where I want to be.
Well, that's the thing. You've made a platform for yourself now, so you've got an expectation.
Yeah.
In your own sense, like like we're both in the same boat where we want our channels to expand. You know, and it's like the way I see it is my channel now. I'm on like 11,943. I know exactly because I looked at it as soon as I came in. I was like, right, how many's on now? I mean, and I got to stop doing that. I'm nearly at 12,000. Like. I mean, and like we're both in a position where our channels are growing, so like we put pressure on ourselves. Pressure makes diamonds, all that sort of stuff. But everything comes in stages. I just think
got to do it gradually. Not like I bet you if you took like a sample of all the YouTube channels in the world, right? Not many of them have gone from 0 to 3 million in 2 or 3 weeks.
No.
There's probably a handful of which have.
Yeah.
But most of them have just gone gradually up over a period of 5, 6, 7 years, maybe longer. But everything's so instant. Like we were talking about TikTok earlier.
Yeah.
Like everything is so instant now. Like and people's attention spans, everything is just like instant gratification, isn't it? And I think it's easy to get sucked into that.
Oh yeah.
I got to get on TikTok, mate. But what I will do, by the way, I'll in the description below for this and in the audio version, as I'll link all your channels and shit.
Yeah. So.
Talk to me about your studio. Sorry, mate. Your song next week.
Yeah. So. K Motions. Like if you're watching this and you're watching me, you know who I am. Then you know K Motions is. He's a young producer from Birmingham. I believe he's about. I think he's 23. If I'm wrong, sorry, mate. And he's like. One of the most talented people I've ever been around. Like I've been speaking to him since he was 16, 17. I remember saying to him years ago, when he was first putting out he makes drum and bass. I remember saying to him, "Oh, bro, send me some tunes, man. Me and Traumatic will get on it." And he goes, I remember him saying to me, "What, the big Traumatic?" And I'm going, "Yeah, Traumatic." Like, and that was then, and now he's signed to I think he's on a label and all that sort of stuff, and he's got thousands and thousands of followers. He's full time. I've got nothing but respect for the guy. He hit me up when I was at quite a low point, really, and he was like, he remixed one of my songs. I don't know if you've heard my song Dad Jokes, but he literally sent me a voice clip one day, and I was like, "What did you send me a message for?" Okay. Playing it. I was like, "Yo, what are you saying, bro? You fucking remixing my shit, yeah?" He's like, "Yeah." He goes, "It bangs." I was like, "I know." So I was like, "Right, we need to get on the tune then, is it?" And he's like, yeah. So he sent me some bits over, and I sent stuff back to him. Sometimes it hasn't really worked, just in a sense of he's on a label and things, and he needs stuff that are, ideally easy for people to listen to, not political, because I do talk some shit in some of my bars, like, so we've had to make sure that it's all, all legit and that. Sending some vocals over, and I don't think he had everything from me at that point, so I went to a studio in Birmingham about a month ago. We sat there in a session. He ordered me some food in there as well. I will say there's nice food at Birmingham, and we just patterned it. We just went in there, recorded my stuff. We got it all filmed. We got it all documented, and it's coming out on a label. I had my first ever contract come through for all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Signed it away I was in work, mate. I was in work. I had the email. I'm working with some Irish guy called Ivor. And I've only just started speaking to him because I've been there a little while. Obviously, I don't last long in jobs. So I was speaking to him and he was like, "Oh, mate, man, that's amazing." I was like, "Look at this is my contract there." So, yeah, that's coming out next Friday on the 29th of April. It's going to be available on Spotify, Apple Music, all that sort of stuff. And on Friday as well, I'm literally going to be... Is it next door, the Vaults?
Yeah,
I think it's like 2 doors down.
Yeah.
So... It's out on the 29th, and then on the 29th, I'm doing a show with him. He's coming down from Birmingham. I think he's headlining in the Vaults. So we're going to go link up.
What day is that on, do you know?
Next Friday.
Is it?
Yeah.
Can you come in here on Friday? In the day?
Well, I don't know. Did I ask him? He's a very busy man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can ask him. But yeah. But that tune's coming out next week, and then I got an email yesterday from probably the biggest festival in the UK, apart from Glastonbury. So if you know whatever ones I'm on about, you probably know which one I'm on about. I've got a set in this festival. I can't say too much yet because the flyer isn't released until the week of the event.
Good.
Normally they put it out, you know, because of COVID, they haven't had the event on for 2 years, so this one is going to be massive. And till 6 till 7 p.m. outdoors stage, 15,000 people. It's what I literally I sat there last night, and I was on the phone to my mate Ransom. And he was like, right, it's happening. And then I was like, yeah, we're doing, like I said, I'm doing this podcast tomorrow. Then, you know, a couple of days later, this tune's out. Then I've got this festival thing, this and that. And I'm like, this is all this like setback I've had for the last 2 years of like sitting back, working my balls off, staying humble, staying, you know, grateful, going through more of my mental health stuff as well, coming out the other side. And like I just feel like everything's slowly like coming together.
That's the thing, mate. And like I talk about mental health a lot to people, to talk about my own. I'm far too honest about my own mental health, like sometimes. And like what I always say to people, because sometimes people will hit, because I talk about it so much, and I've done we did like mental health and sports series, we've done 2 of them, like with footballers and people talking about like different stuff. And I quite often will have people hit me up and say like, oh, thanks for talking about this because I'm struggling. And what I always tell those people is like, I know today it feels like you just can't go any further, like you can't do it anymore. But like I promise you, it might be in 2 days' time, or it might be in 3 weeks' time, it might be in 6 months' time, it might be in a year. But there'll be a point where you'll wake up one morning and everything will just start coming together, and you'll be like, right, now we're cooking. Like, but in the same way, when you go from like that low to a things start getting higher, there'll also probably be a day like for you,
come back down.
In like a couple of weeks, and you'll think maybe it's when all those things have been done, and you'll be like, you'll wake up one morning and be like, oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, it's like, you know, the winter just gone now. So
sneaks up on you, mate.
What's it called? I was promoting my own show. Like I thought, I had one show in September for my boy Zio up in Nottingham. Like I say, through the COVID stuff, when stuff started opening back up again, I didn't hit up anyone. I just thought, nah, I'm gonna let my music do my talking, and then when the time is right, then the time is right. So obviously, like I've been working, and I thought, you know what? My mate Zio done a show in Nottingham, and I loved it. I went up there, and I loved the buzz of just going up on the motorway, getting to a place, waiting round, seeing everyone perform, do your own thing, get a nice response, go home. That was what I'd done for fucking 10 years, like every weekend, and I missed it. So I was like, alright, cool. So no one's gonna book me anyway. I haven't reached out to anyone. I'll do my own thing. Put on a night in Moon Club. Had a few local acts, including like Local was there as well, man. Like the lineup was sick underneath. Like I had Zio come down from Nottingham, this and that. Spent my own money, spent my own time. You know, like going to get flyers printed off, then going out and printing off the flyers and putting in places and that. Paying for YouTube, Facebook promotion, Instagram promotion, all this sort of stuff. And then the day before the event, he goes, oh yeah, we're cancelling the event because all these COVID restrictions. We want everyone to be safe at this event. And I'm going. I was annoyed, because the event was on the 23rd of December, right? And obviously Christmas Eve's day after. So I thought this day's perfect. Like most people are going to be off work. You know, they've all got their own time to do things.
Coming off the back of COVID and that, it's like the perfect storm, isn't it?
And then it goes, Mark Drakeford said that no one's allowed to have fun before Christmas now. So, cool. So that got cancelled. They cancelled the event, and then they said we're going to reschedule it for the new year. I was like, all right, cool. And they said they gave me the venue for free, which I thought was, cool, that's a bit of a discount. New Year comes, I see a couple of little events going on, you know, like I see a couple, I'm not going to say names and that, people I know. I'm thinking, alright, cool. So I might hit him up now because it's New Year. COVID's done. Like, and aired me. Like, read my messages. No. I was just like, alright, cool. I'm not even saying anymore now. Like I say, that's the past. It was annoying at the time, but now I say, like, we've gone through all that, and then we're here now talking on a podcast, and then we've got all this good stuff coming up.
Yeah, they're sitting there, and I think like hospitality was in a weird position in some ways as well, like because obviously they needed to do those events, and they need them on, don't they? But they were also in a position where, like, depending on who come to check, you could have some right jobs worth come and do the checks, the COVID checks at these venues, and you can end up being shut down or having like massive fines. So whilst I get your frustration, especially
I see from this, but it was the way they conducted themselves. You know what I mean? Like I'm a professional, everything.
Exactly, mate. Do you know what you just said there? Right, you're a professional, and this is what pisses me off about all sorts of people who I contact for various reasons, whether it's sponsors, guests, whatever, agents, whoever it is, whatever it is for. Like, just do me the courtesy of saying no thanks.
Yeah.
I like that's all I ask, because there's nothing vexes me more when people who have read your email or your message, and they just don't do you the courtesy to just acknowledge it, or say, like, someone hit me up on Easter Sunday, and I promised my missus, it's Easter Saturday, but we were out shopping, right? And we were in fucking Hobbycraft of all places, and I'm with my missus, and I've said to her, like, right, we're out now, we're gonna do whatever you need, whatever you need to get, we'll get it. I'm not going to look at my phone, because as soon as I start looking, I got like all these messages from different people or whatever. And I felt my phone go off, and I was like, oh, that's a Facebook message. And I put up a thing about sponsors in the morning, and I'm like, she had gone round the corner. I was like, oh, I'll have a quick look. And she's come round the corner, I can feel her like glaring in my head, like, and I was like, the guy had messaged me in response to a post I'd put up about sponsors. So I said, all right, about 2 seconds. And I just said to him, like, I'll message you after Easter, like, I'm doing stuff for the family. That was it. Shut it, close. She wasn't happy, man. But like, it took me 10 seconds. But I could have, so many people would just, like, not saying that I'm, like, great because I messaged him back, but it just vexes me out. Like, just say no thanks, or just say can't talk, whatever. Like,
that's it.
Unprofessional, mate, I think is what it's getting to.
It is, and like I say, nothing we can really do about it, but I will not be hitting up them for anything in the future. It is what it is. Like, they had an event in there on the weekend, just gone. Benji done one in there. Looked really good. Shouts to Benji, shouts to everyone who was involved in that. But like, I'm on to bigger and better things anyway, so I don't need to worry about stuff like that. So
the thing is, I treat people the way they treat me, mate. I do, and like, if I feel like people are taking a piss, I'll just be like, alright.
Yeah.
And I don't get into like a big thing with them and say anything. I just go, alright, and I just don't bother. I won't message you next time, or I won't invite you next time, or I won't do whatever, like, because I'll, like I say, move on to bigger and better things. So what I'm going to do, mate, is I'll put links to your channel and your tune. If you send me the link for your tune as well, I'll put that in the description as well. So this is out on Tuesday next week.
Is it that quick, yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
So the tune will be out then. Yeah, so this song's out now.
There we go.
Come get it.
So there we go. So yeah, I'll link it below for a channel, song, everything, all that good shit, and your social medias and that. Very quickly, I wanted to ask you. I asked Mirkic about it as well. Like, the Diff Boy with Stabs, obviously, when our remix come out, I got this weird thing, right? So I got a 17-year-old, a 15-year-old, and a 13-year-old. Yeah. And I'm 40. Yeah. So we all, like, found that song at different times. Like, we didn't find it through each other. Yeah, yeah. So we'd quite often, like, I'd walk into the garden or something, and my older boy would be listening to it, or he'd be coming with on his bike, and he's got his speaker on, and he's got that on. And we all found it different times for different things, reached like all different age groups, like. But like, the thing which strikes me about the video with the remix, with all you lot, is there's like so many different people on it, and it just looks like fun, like, just looked like a good crack, like just.
It was quite fun, yeah. I will be honest. Like, I wasn't in. I was just on the island having a gamble, like, I'll be honest. And then Stabs was like, "Yo, yes, bro, we do." And I had this pink T-shirt on, man. And I was like, "Oh, fuck, he's filming now, isn't he?" And I got this pink Nike T-shirt on. Well, I say
that's
pink.
Right, you're in the background, didn't you, doing the old gambler.
And I say it was pink. It was more salmon-like, type of thing.
Is that better or worse?
Either way, right? Either way, he came down, recorded the thing. I'm like, am I happy I'm on it now? Probably not.
Is it?
Yeah.
Why not?
Just because if you look at my style of what I do, my sort of stuff is very dark, like, you know, like either like heavy hitting 808 basses or, you know, like just scatty stuff. Now, there's a bit of a contrast. Like, am I grateful to be on it? Yeah, 100%, because, you know, got to meet up with all the boys, go to the studio. There was like 20 of us in the studio, and I got to, you know, proper speak to some of them, who I've known for years. And all that
you don't
sort of
always
stuff.
get to speak to them.
Yeah,
just have a chat.
And like we went to play at Loud Studio. Shout out Winnie for that. There was loads of us there. Had a wicked time. My verse, like, you know, I'm not being biased. Like I thought my verse should have been a little bit to the front, but you know it is what it is. And my verse was like, come on, yeah.
I think it's one of the better ones.
What is it? I've been doing bits in a diff. You're on bail and you can't get no gigs in a diff. Like that's a Welsh bar. If I'm not being funny, like you know what I mean. Comedy's a ninja, but I don't play no drums on the bins in a diff, like ninja, man. I was just like, oh my god, what? That was sick. Yeah. So I just done that as a laugh anyway, because he did like a challenge thing, and I didn't expect to be, you know, picked, and I just done it for a laugh. He said, oh yeah, it was good, man. Come through, do the thing. So we done that, and then we performed there like Colour Clash. That was wicked as well. But yeah, like, you know, it was a good moment in my life. Like I say, if I was to be asked to go on it, something like that now, I'd probably say no. Just because of the route I'm going down now. And
routes, isn't it?
Yeah, but you know, shout out Stavs, like, that's my boy, like, I mean, we got some stuff in the pipeline. But yeah, it was a good time. I think I was after Merkage, was I?
You were straight after Mercage's one.
Yeah, and I remember me and him, we was having a conversation after Colour Clash, and we was both like a bit like, because we performed it twice at that Colour Clash. One was on the big stage in front of like about, I don't know, 10, 15,000, maybe a bit less. God, can't count 15,000 people one. But when they're performing, obviously the boys are getting hyping it. Like, you know, we got Winnie on the decks, yeah, we got everyone there. You know, had Andrew Biggie Morrison out there as well, hyping it up, and that was wicked. And they made Winnie reload the tune. We only had like 5 minutes to perform this tune, so obviously where me and Merkage were like quite far up in the tune, where they reloaded it, we didn't get to do our bit until the end, and then it's like, we didn't get no reloads like that. It is what it is. Boys, you had fun. We all had fun that day. We performed it again, and then me and Merkage were like, oh man, it was annoying, like the tune got reloaded, like, because we didn't really get to perform our stuff. And I was like, yeah, that's true. So, you know, like, it is what it is. Like, it was a good time. I met my fucking baby mum there, man. It was mad. I knew we had to date.
Things happen for reasons.
Yeah, man.
If you turn that down,
yeah,
because it wasn't your thing or whatever,
yeah,
you might not have had your daughter.
Yeah, I know.
So, like, when you look at it like that,
yeah.
Quite mad, isn't it?
That's the maddest thing about it, you know. That my daughter's come from all of this, you know. And the way I see things in general is we've all lived we both lived our lives now, and our lives have been led to this point, this time where we're talking into a camera and putting it on YouTube. Mad, mate. Mad.
Proper crazy. Yeah. Right, we're going to wrap it up there. Guys, make sure you check out Comedy's YouTube channel, and especially all his music and that. And if you need any beats, that's your man to go to.
That's it, man, and they're cheap as well, so get on him, man.
Get him.
Yeah, thank you for having me, mate.
Yeah, no
Appreciate
worries,
you, man. Thank you.
Good.